Welcome back to Games. I would love to share one of my favorite silly group warm-up games, which is Good Day Sheila, or to be more appropriate, Good Day Sheila. As a disclaimer, my family has always given me a lot of guff for my terrible Australian accent, and I'd like to formally apologize to the nation of Australia and anyone else who was offended by my accent. This is a super good game for medium-sized groups. I probably wouldn't do it with less than 5 people and not more than 15. And it's just like, doesn't require anything. You just stand up, you get in a circle, and you say, hello, everyone. Your name is now Sheila. And they're like, okay, I guess my name's Sheila now. And then you introduce the flow of the game. And this is something we might be able to play here on the call, but essentially here's how it goes. I say to the person to my left or my right, it doesn't matter, good day, Sheila. And as soon as people start playing this game, you need to facilitate the fact that it needs to be like an emphatic, bad Australian accent. Like if someone says, good day, Sheila, it's like, no, no, no. Do the best you can with your worst accent. And so, good day, Sheila. And then the person who you're turning to looks back to you and they say, good day, Sheila. And then you invite the next person in the circle to introduce themselves to the person to your, again, left or right. Let's just say right for now. So 2 people down from me on the right, I say to the person to my right, why don't you say good day to Sheila? Sheila. That's the entire game flow. And then the person to my right restarts it and turns to their right and says, good day, Sheila. And then that person turns back, good day, Sheila. Why don't you say good day to Sheila? Sheila, it just goes on like that. And you go around the circle once. You encourage everyone to do their best, worst accents and speak up loudly and make sure you get the wording correct, because a lot of people will start to modify the introduction phrase, but it should stay consistent with like, why don't you say good day to Sheila, Sheila, or choose your other phrasing, but it should be consistent. Okay, so everyone does that once and you're like, great, you know how to play this game. Now, if you ever make any mistakes in how you say this thing to this other person, either you say the sentence incorrectly, or you do not use a thick enough Australian accent, or you wait too long, like literally anything, then your name is going to change. If your name is Sheila, your name will change to Bruce. So then the game would be like, good day, Bruce. And then that person would say back to me, good day, Sheila. And I say, why don't you say good day to Sheila, Bruce? If you are Bruce and you mess up again, your name becomes Wombat. This is where the game gets really good. And if you are Wombat and you mess up, and this is where the game becomes brilliant, your name becomes G'day. And so at some point, there's going to be gameplay that sounds like this. G'day, Bruce. G'day, Sheila. Won't you say g'day to Wombat, Bruce? G'day, Bruce. G'day, Wombat. Won't you say g'day to G'day, Wombat? G'day. G'day, Wombat. Won't you say g'day to Sheila? Like, it gets crazy, especially when you get multiple g'days in a row, because at some point in the game, you'll hear, g'day, g'day. Won't you say g'day to the g'day, g'day? I can hardly do it, right? It's very hard. This is a great game for people who want something higher energy, something verbal, something that requires like verbal acuity. And it's usually not a favorite game of anyone who feels a bit shy about using accents, about speaking up, about speaking quickly, or being really precise with their words. And fortunately for those people, the game is over fairly quickly. And so if you are good day and you mess up again, then you are out of the game and you can sit out. So this is an elimination game. Some people don't like them. I like to use them sparingly because, yeah, it can be not that fun to be out in the elimination game. But a lot of people really love the competitive aspect of this game, and especially drama kids. Like, you just get them going on Good Day Sheila, and it's like, it keeps going. All right, that's the whole game. I don't think we'll actually try to play it here, but Jenny, do you have a question?
Yeah, I'm just curious. Have you ever tried it in like sort of more of like a multilingual environment?
Yes, I have. And as long as they have basic English, I haven't tried to do it in a different language than English. But as long as they have basic English and can say these sentences, I have had groups of non-native English speakers play the game successfully.
All right.
Yeah.
So like they somehow like come up with what their notion of an Australian accent is.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe it's a British accent. You know.
Right. And like you just like
Australia for some reason is the funniest accent.
all I can think about is my Australian colleague like getting in on this one.
I know
But,
we're going to offend someone, so Australia is very far away.
He would come in and he would like dig at you and make it more fun. He likes competition.
Good. Yeah. All right. So let's not play the game here, but I would love to hear everyone in the room give me your best. I want you to feel the pressure to say. You can choose "G'day Sheila." You can be "G'day Bruce," "G'day Wombat," or "G'day," and then say the second half, which is "Why don't you say good day to?" And then you could choose the other name also. And so, yeah, Jenny, go for it.
All right. Good day, Sheila. Why don't you say good day to Bruce?
Yeah, and then it would be Sheila again at the end. Yeah, you would imagine like you're talking to this person, "Good day, Sheila," and they would respond to you, "Good day, whoever you are," and then you say, "Why don't you say good day to Bruce, Sheila?" Yeah, perfect. All right, Bridget, you're up. Good luck.
Good day, Bruce. Why don't you say good day to Sheila, Bruce?
Beautiful. Love it. Hallie, go for it.
G'day, Sheila. Why don't you say g'day to Sheila, Sheila?
Beautiful.
Beautiful fave.
And Anouk?
Good day, Sheila. Why don't you say good day to Bruce, Wombat?
Excellent. Have you done this before, Anouk?
No.
No. Fantastic. Yeah, that's it. My facilitation advice for this game is that you are a brutal dictator in terms of facilitation from the very beginning, because people are okay with brutal dictators as long as it's a consistent dictatorship that seems fair in its brutality to all parties involved. And so like the very first moment that someone is too slow or fumbles their words or is not Australian enough, just highlight it and like maintain the high standards from the very beginning. Otherwise, this game can go on for too long. And if all of a sudden standards are modified throughout the game, people can feel like they're being picked on individually for whatever their perceived deficiency might be. So brutal dictatorship. I'm so sorry, Australia. It's a wonderful game. It takes no more than 5 minutes, unless you have a bigger group and they're really good at it. Then you might get up to 10 or 15 minutes. Yeah. Wonderful.
I want to say one thing. When I was in school, I took an accent and dialects class, and this was our warm-up game, and we would play this game for like 20 minutes.
Nice, because everyone was so good at it and so precise with their language.
Everyone was really precise and articulate, which was the point of the game.
It's a memory game too, because as soon as someone drops out next to you, you have to remember what the name of the person is next to you. And so that gets some people too. Yeah. You realize it's a more complex game than just saying silly words once you play it. Cool. So you approve of this, Hallie?
Big thumbs up. Very fun game.
That means a lot to me. Great. Okay, that's our intro game. Any final questions?
I have one question. So as a facilitator, do you join the circle or are you focused on only being the brutal judge?
I join the circle and am able to be the brutal dictator at the same time. But you could certainly, just step outside of the circle.